Hello and welcome to my video, fellow person of Earth. This is my review of the Neat Bumblebee 2, which is a USB condenser that costs between $40 and $100. I did buy it with my own money, and if you want to check it out, I'll throw some links down below. All of my recording settings will be listed in the doobly-doo as well as the description. And now let's discuss what comes in the box. What a shocker, you're going to get the microphone, a desktop stand that's already installed, an approximately 1 meter USB-C to USB-A cable, a 5/8 to 3/8 inch microphone stand adapter, and a tiny bit of documentation. Next, as far as the build quality, this microphone feels pretty okay. It has a metal body and a metal grill with very minimal give to it, and it also has a metal yoke mount. None of the metal feels like the highest quality though. On the front you have a mute button as well as a multifunction dial. If you press this dial, it will change between the modes, yellow being headphone volume, blue being microphone level, and green being the mix between computer playback and zero latency monitoring. And on the note of that dial/button, on my specific unit, sometimes that would get stuck and you just needed to wobble it to get it loose again. On the bottom, you have a USB-C port to connect this to your device, and a 3.5mm headphone jack, which offers zero latency monitoring and computer playback, and whether you care or not, it is made in China. I'm not going to read the specs to you, but I will have them up on screen as well as in the description, and good job Turtle Beach and Neat for providing a lot of them. Very cool. Now I'm spinning around the Bumblebee 2 to show you the off-axis rejection and coloration. Continuing around to the rear of the mic, this is the back of it. Continuing around to the second 90-degree angle, there we go. And then rotating and ending at the front of the mic. Now let's hear how this microphone handles plosive rejection. Please provide pizza pronto, pals. Please provide pizza pronto, pals. Please prepare provided pizza pronto, palarinos. Now I'm right on top of the Bumblebee 2 to exaggerate the proximity effect, and here is how it's sounding. Now about 6 inches off of the mic with it pointed at the corner of my mouth, and here's how it sounds. About 1 foot away from the Bumblebee 2, about 2 feet away from the Neat Bumblebee 2, and about 4 feet away from the Bumblebee 2. Now I am typing on a Gateron Blue Switch keyboard to see how much of that it rejects. And for the gamers, here are the sad W and spacebar keys. Now here is how the Neat Bumblebee 2 sounds about 6 inches from my mouth in a relatively well-treated room. And now here is how the Bumblebee Tuna sounds about 6 inches away from my mouth in a completely untreated room. I also want to let you hear if this microphone or mount have any kind of resonant frequencies. Now I have the microphone on the provided desktop stand. It is sat directly on my desk in front of me, about 1 foot away from my mouth, and here is how it sounds in this kind of setup. And here's how the microphone sounds on a boom arm about 6 inches away from my mouth. And here's how it sounds typing on a Gateron Blue Switch keyboard with the microphone on the desk. And here's the keyboard rejection with the microphone on a boom arm. And with the microphone on the desktop stand, here's how it sounds if I bump my desk. And again with the microphone on the boom arm, here's how much of the desk bumps it rejects. Now let's hear how the mute button is implemented, so I will keep unmute the microphone, I will unmute and unmute the microphone again. There you go, that is the mute button implementation. Alright, now just because it's helpful, let's do a bunch of spoken word comparisons with this thing. This is the Neat Bumblebee 2, 6 inches off, input level set at 14.7%. Let's hear the first mic. First up, we have the Samson Go Mic on the Cardioid pattern, 6 inches off, input level set at about 9%, recording 16-bit 48 kilohertz. This microphone ranges from $20 to $50, and here's how it sounds compared to the Neat. Back on the Neat Bumblebee 2, I'm recording 24-bit 48 kilohertz. Let's hear another mic. Next, I'm on the Razer Seiren V3 Mini, about 6 inches off, input level set at 27%, recording 24-bit 48 kilohertz. This microphone costs about $50 to $60, and here's how it sounds compared to a pretty direct competitor. Here is another palette cleanser on the Neat Bumblebee 2. That's enough talking. Let's go to another mic. Next, I'm on the HyperX Solocast, about 6 inches off of this thing, with my input level set at 42%, recording at 24-bit 48 kilohertz. This microphone also costs around $60. I would say it's a direct competitor to the Neat Bumblebee 2, and there you go. This is the Bumblebee 2 again. Just to clear out your ear holes, let's go to another one. Now I am on the Logitech Blue Yeti Orb, about 6 inches off, with my input level set at 1%, recording 24-bit 48 kilohertz. All of the Blue Voice effects and processing is disengaged. This is just raw. This microphone also costs about $60, and that's the Yeti Orb compared to the Bumblebee. Alright, here's another palette cleanser on the Neat Bumblebee 2. You should know how it sounds. Let's go to another one. Now I am on the Rode NT USB Mini, about 6 inches off of this thing, with my input level set at 14%, recording 24-bit 48 kilohertz. All of the Rode Aphex processing is disengaged, so this is the raw audio from the microphone. This mic costs about $100. And that is the comparison. I think we're over the hump. This is the Bumblebee 2, another palette cleanser. Let's go to some more. Now this is the Sennheiser Profile USB, about 6 inches off, microphone gain set at 1 o'clock, input level set at 100%, 24-bit 48 kilohertz. This microphone costs about $130. Here's how it sounds compared to the Bumblebee Tuna. Just to be clear, that's a reference to Ace Ventura 2 when nature calls. I hope that's nothing offensive. Let's do some more. Hey, this is the Neat Bumblebee 2 again. Here is how it's sounding. Let's hear another microphone. Now I'm on the Audio Technica AT2020X-USB, 6 inches off, input level set at 13%, 24-bit 48 kilohertz. This microphone costs about $130, and there you go. That's how the Audio Technica sounds compared to the Neat. We have 2 more microphones to go, so this is your penultimate palette cleanser on the Neat Bumblebee 2. Let's go to that mic. Now we're into the reference section of the comparisons. I am currently on the Shure SM57, 6 inches off, running into the 18i 24th gen, gain at 55 decibels, 24-bit 48 kilohertz. This microphone costs $100. It is popular, ubiquitous. It's a point of reference. And here's your final palette cleanser on the Bumblebee 2. We have 1 mic to go, which we are going to jump to right now. I am on the Neumann U87 Ai Cardioid pattern, no pad, no filters. Gain on the 18i 24th gen is 28 decibels. This microphone costs about $3,700, so more than 10x what I paid for the Bumblebee 2. So this is a fair comparison. That is enough of the references. Let's go ahead and hear how the mic sounds for music. songs 1,000 times till I can get them right. Then maybe you won't think that I suck at guitar. Yeah, this is take 5,000 of the guitar parts. It takes so long. I suck at playing slowly to a click. It may be my personal hell. Let's go to the conclusion. Hello, and welcome to the conclusion of this microphone review. I bought this microphone on sale for $25, and for that price, this thing is just crazy. Let's go ahead and start with the pros, and first up, I think the sound of this thing is pretty darn solid, especially the price that it goes for when it's on sale. I also didn't hear any kind of resonances when I was bumping it. You also get everything that you need to start recording. Granted, I do think it sounds a lot better if you get the microphone closer to the sound source and get it off the provided desktop stand. It allows you to mix very easily between computer playback and zero latency monitoring, and it has a mute button, which I am a huge fan of. Then as far as cons, number one for me is the fact that the button gets stuck on my microphone. It's not a deal breaker, but it is a major inconvenience having to fiddle with that thing. Also, there is a little bit of a quirk. When you unplug this or it loses power, the microphone input and the headphone output do get remembered, but the mix between computer playback and zero latency monitoring, that gets reset, so you need to set that every single time the microphone regains power. Also, I didn't think the microphone did a great job at plosive rejection, and then to get into the nitpicky stuff, I had a very hard time differentiating between the green and yellow lights because I am colorblind, just not the best colors. And lastly, this is extremely nitpicky, but the mute button is a physical button, so when you engage or disengage, there is an ever so slight click to it. And now what are my overall thoughts and opinions of the Neat Bumblebee 2? As far as the overall sound, I would classify this as a V-shaped microphone. It has a tremendous amount of bass and low mids. The mids aren't scooped, but they are far from being dominant, and then you also get a bit of treble and air, but it is not the most exaggerated of the bunch. On the electric guitar, I think this is fine. It has a very thick body in the low end, and then the upper frequencies I found to be a bit punchy and not the most pleasant when I got to the upper register of the guitar. On the acoustic, I would say the lower frequencies really take center stage on this thing. That is what's very dominant and the most apparent. It still has some detail to it, but it's not the most articulate, so if you want a lot of bass and a lot of body, that's what this is offering. I have no idea why it's so hot. It's supposed to be winter and I am sweating. Don't you dare ask why I'm wearing a sweater. If you ask questions like that, all of this falls apart. As far as singing vocals, I would say this offers a very supportive low end. The mids aren't scooped, but they are far from being pushed or forward, and then you still have some detail in the upper frequencies and the treble and air. Like I said, I would classify this as a slightly V-shaped mic with a focus in the lower frequencies. And lastly, for spoken word, I think this works perfectly fine, especially given the price. If you are looking for more of that V-shaped sound, very supportive low end, non-dominant midsection, and a little bit of treble and air to bring in that detail and articulation. Alright, and to wrap up, would I recommend the Neat Bumblebee 2? Yes, I would. I bought this microphone for $25 on sale, and at that price, this thing is rad. After I bought it, I saw it on sale for $17. At that price point, this thing is one of the biggest no-brainers ever. But I understand that may not always be the price, so if this came in at $50 to $60, I think that's more than fair, and it competes admirably against the competition like the Seiren V3 Mini, the Solocast from Razer, or the Logitech Blue Yeti Orb. This offers a different sound and a comparable set of features. And I also need to note that the MSRP of this is $100, and when it gets to that price point, I think it becomes more of a toss-up because there are a lot of great options from other brands. You can start looking at an XLR mic and a USB interface, so it becomes a lot murkier, and I think the value proposition isn't quite as strong at that price point.